Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel where we break down the biggest updates you need to know about Social Security, SSI, SSDI, and all the financial support programs affecting millions of Americans right now. If you rely on benefits, you're going to want to stay with me until the end of this video because something massive is happening, and it could mean double deposits in your bank account this month. That's right. The Social Security Administration has just triggered a wave of new payments, and the numbers we're seeing are significant. $4,500 and $1,950 in some cases, hitting accounts much sooner than most expected. But the real question is, who's actually getting this money, why now, and what do you need to do to be eligible? Now, let's get into what we know so far. According to multiple recent confirmations, the Social Security Administration, SSA, has authorized a round of payments that are showing up as what many are calling double deposits. These aren't your usual monthly benefits. In fact, they're being described as retroactive adjustments, special lump sum reimbursements, and in some cases, catch-up deposits owed due to underpayments or delays in processing. There's also growing speculation that some of this money is tied to earlier benefit adjustments that were calculated incorrectly, and now the SSA is making things right. The largest deposit we've seen reported so far is $4,500. Let that sink in. That's not a typo. Some recipients are seeing deposits of up to $4,500 landing directly in their checking accounts. But before we get ahead of ourselves, it's important to understand where these numbers are coming from. These payments appear to be most commonly associated with SSDI beneficiaries who were approved late last year or earlier this year but had not received their full retroactive back pay. In some of these cases, delays due to administrative backlogs or technical errors caused payment gaps. And now, the SSA is pushing out lump sums to make up for lost time. In addition to the $4,500 payments, another tier of recipients is seeing $1,950 deposits. These are believed to be linked to COLA corrections and late processing of SSI and retirement benefit increases. You see, when the 2025 cost of living adjustment was announced at 3.2%, the adjustment was supposed to automatically reflect in beneficiaries' January payments. However, not everyone saw that increase on time, particularly those who had recently transitioned between programs, such as from SSI to retirement benefits, or those who began receiving SSDI in the second half of 2024. These $1,950 payments are effectively correcting that, making sure everyone receives the full increase they were entitled to. So, who qualifies for these payments? Let's break this down clearly. First, SSDI recipients who were approved but experienced a delay in payment processing may be eligible for retroactive lump sums, especially if there was a gap between the date of disability onset and the date benefit started. Second, SSI recipients who had underpaid months due to incomplete income verifications or delays in annual COLA updates may be eligible for catch-up payments. And third, some dual beneficiaries, those who receive both SSDI and SSI, could see double deposits if they were impacted by administrative recalculations on both fronts. The SSA has stated that recalculations are being prioritized based on processing order and claimant history. Let's also talk about how the banking system fits into this. The reason you may hear that deposits are reaching out to banks is because once the SSA releases a payment file, your financial institution still needs to clear and post the deposit. In some cases, this happens immediately. In others, there might be a lag of 24 to 72 hours, especially during weekends or holidays. If you've been notified of a pending deposit or if you use an app that previews your upcoming direct deposits, keep a close watch over the next few days. These payments are being staggered. And here's something very important. These payments are not part of a new stimulus. They're not random bonuses. They are owed funds legally calculated by the SSA based on your prior benefits, errors in payment processing, or adjustments made due to changes in your claim status. That means if you're receiving one, you're not just lucky. You're being paid what you should have already received. On the other hand, if you're not seeing anything yet, don't panic. There are tens of thousands of recalculations underway, and the rollout is happening in waves. So what should you do right now? First and foremost, log in to your My Social Security account. This is where you'll see any recent notices, letters, or payment history adjustments. If a retroactive payment or a COLA correction is in process, it will likely appear there before it hits your bank. You can also view your full payment history and verify if there were discrepancies in past months. Second, if you see a deposit pending but it hasn't cleared yet, call your bank, not the SSA, to verify when it will post. Banks can often give you a more accurate timeline than federal agencies. Now, let's address a question that's popping up everywhere. Will there be more double deposits like this in the future? Based on patterns we've seen and internal SSA memos that have been shared with advocacy groups, the answer is likely yes. There is ongoing work to clean up backlogs in payment adjustments from 2023 and 2024, especially involving those who received pandemic-related extensions, people who switched programs, or individuals whose disability reviews were delayed. All of these scenarios are still under review, and as the audits continue, we expect to see more rounds of corrective payments in the months ahead. It's also worth noting that members of Congress have been pressuring the SSA to speed up reimbursements and correct any outstanding errors. Several senators, particularly those on the Senate Aging Committee and the House Ways and Means Subcommittee on Social Security, have written to the SSA demanding transparency on how payment errors are being handled. This political pressure could be part of the reason why we're seeing a sudden surge of deposits right now. Let's pivot for a moment and talk about the broader implications. What does all of this mean for the Social Security trust funds? Is this going to affect long-term solvency? The short answer is no. These payments were already accounted for in the budget. They're not new liabilities, but rather corrections of existing ones. However, the fact that so many people are receiving retroactive funds now is highlighting just how outdated and inefficient parts of the SSA's infrastructure still are. It's a reminder that as we push into 2025 and beyond, modernization isn't just a luxury, it's a necessity. Now, if you're wondering whether you need to apply for these payments, the answer is mostly no. These corrections are automatic. But in rare cases, for instance, if your address or banking information has changed, or if you believe you were overlooked, it may be worth filing a formal inquiry. You can do this by calling the SSA directly or visiting your local field office. Be patient, though. Field offices are often backed up, and it may take several attempts to get through. Before we close, let's talk briefly about scams. Whenever large payments like this go out, fraudsters aren't far behind. Be extremely cautious of emails, texts, or calls claiming to offer expedited deposits in exchange for your personal info or banking credentials. The SSA will never ask for your information via text message, and no third-party agent can speed up your payment. When in doubt, verify directly on ssa.gov or through your secure My Social Security portal. So, to wrap up, yes, these $4,500 and $1,950 deposits are real. They're happening right now, and thousands of Americans are seeing them hit their accounts. But whether you're among them depends on your benefit history, your claim status, and whether you were impacted by one of the many administrative issues that led to these payments being delayed in the first place. Stay alert. Stay informed, and most importantly, stay proactive. Keep your SSA account updated, monitor your bank for pending transactions, and don't hesitate to ask questions if something seems off. If you found this update helpful, make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who might be impacted. We're all in this together, and the more people we keep informed, the better we can protect our communities from confusion and misinformation. Let us know in the comments below if you've seen any unusual deposits recently, and we'll keep the conversation going. Until next time, take care, stay safe, and keep watching for more updates right here.